good in sports on 89.7 KLASFM as we are continuing to work out our glitches, but we are professional. The show must go on. And here it goes. And the final two goods. Finally, we're going to see Floyd Mayweather fight. I'm certain he is sick and tired of being known for the things he's being known for right now in the world of sports. And probably going into the ring will probably give him the release that he needs in order to sort of vindicate his career. Now, Mr. Ortiz that he's fighting was supposed to be the future of the welterweight division. He's a very, very sharp fighter. He's a good-looking kid. He is really, he's got a nice, thick, stiff neck, and he can punch. But the last two times I've seen him fight, and the one thing I'm not trying to be, stereotypical here, but sometimes when you got these fighters who are heart fighters, like he's a heart fighter, sometimes you walk into a right hand and it don't taste too good. And I have a feeling this is going to happen tomorrow night. I think he's going to try to crowd Mayweather. I think he's going to try to basically ambush Mayweather. But the one thing that Floyd Mayweather can do better than most, Floyd Mayweather, he can defend. Now, we know they don't play defense in the National Football League, but Floyd Mayweather can definitely defend. And he is not going to let this gentleman, for 12 rounds, crowd him. And as you will see throughout this fight, probably Ortiz will get off to a good start. And then Mayweather will figure something out and take him apart. I think this fight's going to go the distance. I think we're going to see a very bloodied Victor Ortiz. And I think Mayweather will have one more fight before he takes on Manny Pacquiao. Some more good. College football, folks. I love college football a heck of a lot more than I do the NFL. But with college football, you really can't get very much into it because every week is a different season. This week's season, we have 6 or 7 absolute marquee matchups that will either wreck somebody's season or give someone a season to remember. And I'm talking about Ohio State versus Miami in the game that most people are calling the Probation Bowl, where both Ohio State and Miami are in serious trouble with the NCAA, and both schools will probably face stiff sanctions and punishments over the next couple of years for the things and the discretions of their schools. Ohio State's coming off a game where they played very lackluster against Toledo. Miami has not played since they played Maryland, in which they battled very valiantly. They just couldn't get it done in the fourth quarter. But Ja'Cory Harris will be back in as the quarterback. And so we're looking forward to probably an epic game. I'm taking the Canes because I think Miami owes Ohio State for the last 2 meetings in particular, where Miami had the game won in the national championship game, and the referee called that bogus pass interference. And in last year's game, a couple bad plays by Harris. He threw 4 interceptions. Ohio State was a better team. I don't think they're a better team this year. Florida State and Oklahoma, another game for vindication. Bob Stoops' team from Oklahoma last year stomped all over the Noles. I mean, Landry Jones looked like he was playing catch with his family. That's how easy they beat Florida State. Well, this year the game is down in Tallahassee. And we're going to take our first call on 89.7 KLSFM. Here we go. Hello.
Hello, this is David from New York.
What's going on, David? How are you?
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And
First time, long time.
I know. Good to hear from you. So what's up?
I wanted to ask you a little bit of MLB.
Okay.
I want to talk to you a little about the Anaheim Angels versus the Red Sox, the wild card. Everyone's talking about the Red Sox. Not as many people, at least here on the East Coast, talk about the Angels. And meanwhile, they're neck and neck for the wild card. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think the Angels have to figure out a way to stop losing to these teams that they're better than. I mean, they play Oakland and then all of a sudden they do well for a couple of games, and they play sloppily in another game. They got Baltimore, these teams that they're playing now that aren't so good. The Angels need to step up and get it done. The Red Sox, however, I guess, they have to just sort of survive this Tampa Bay series, at least just win one game to get the lead back up. And then the Red Sox have to play the Yankees one more time, and the Red Sox love playing the Yankees this season. So, based on strength of schedule, I think the Angels have the best schedule. But I think the Red Sox knows that, at least in their mind, they know they've had good success against the Yankees coming up. I think that they feel okay. And Beckett coming back tonight is enormous. If Beckett doesn't pitch well tonight, I think the Red Sox are going to flounder. I think with Herron, and I also think with Weaver pitching as well as they've been pitching, and Santana, I think the Angels are going to. It's going to come down to the final weekend of the season, and so we'll see what happens.
I feel like, again, you're on the East Coast. Everything's about Philly, who I think is legit, and Yankees and Red Sox, which are perennial. I just wonder if it even matters coming out of the AL. If you listen to the talking heads, it feels like the Phillies are going to take it all. What's your take on that?
Well, I tell you something. It's a very, very. I think the postseason in the American League is going to be extremely wide open because I think no one knows what you're going to get from the Tigers. No one knows what you're going to get from the Yankees rotation. And if it all becomes slugfest and it comes down to bullpens, well, who's got the best bullpen? And the best bullpen probably is the Yankees bullpen. And though the Angels have the Yankees number through the years, Boston has had Anaheim's number over the years. Texas quietly is just slowly hanging out on the fringe, waiting to see how it shakes out. So I look forward to seeing how this all finishes out. I got a question for you. So, I know you follow pro football as well. So who are your Super Bowl teams?
Oh, man. It's a tough one this early, but, I hate to be a homer or, someone that's echoing what they're hearing out there, but it could be tough. Beat Philly, NFC, my book. I think they're legit.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come to the forefront more and more week to week. You're going to start seeing how confident they are in the NFC at least. Uh-oh. Can't see my background noise there. Sorry. I think in the AFC, that's the real battle.
There's another question I wanted to ask you as well, too, since you're a big fantasy sports guy. Give the folks a fantasy player this week that they should have on the roster and a fantasy player that they don't have on the roster, that they shouldn't have on this week.
Right. Yeah, you are up my alley right there, but there's so many choices. Gotta love, sorry about that. You got a little background noise.
That's okay.
I love Ray Rice. The guy's a monster. He looks like a monster. He acts like a monster. He puts up numbers like a monster. Obviously, he's not available in any league, but if you got him, you gotta love that.
And what player should people avoid this week?
What's that?
What player should people not start this week?
Oh, man. Not start the week. I wish I had the matchup in front of me. It's all matchup game. It's hard to tell if you got only 1 week of defenses
Right.
to read and react to. But you can tell which defenses are legit. And if you got a defense that's legit and you're going up against that, I say play the matchup. For instance, the Jets, I don't know who the Jets are playing this week, but they're playing someone, and someone's on Reader's Island. You can't play that receiver.
Right.
Do you have that in front of you? I don't know if you. I heard it earlier on this week. Whoever it was, someone on one of my teams, and I'm not going to start. The receiver go against whoever is going against Reader. You can't start that guy.
Well, I
I
think.
play matchups.
Well, if I was, I agree with Ray Rice, and I know everyone is kind of on this Cam Newton thing because he threw for 422 last week, but I think the Packers blitzed more than anyone did last week, and I think the Packers are going to blitz him like crazy, and this could be a 3-interception week and a 140-yard passing game.
I feel that's the matchup of the week.
Yeah.
It's the matchup to tell if Cam is legit or not. He went against the defense last week. That was no joke.
Right.
Cardinals. It's not a defense to see that. A lot of people started him because they thought they get the points against the rookie.
Right.
He tore him up.
That's true.
The question is Cam legit? Or when he plays a top 5, top 10 type defense, is he going to choke? And that's the question of the week. I think after week 3, there'll be a lot more clarity in terms of who you start in the future.
Well, thanks for the tip, and thanks for the call. We'll get back to you soon we can. You take care.
You're the man, Richard. Thank you.
Take care. 89.7 KLES FM. I love talking sports with that gentleman because he's extremely knowledgeable. And we'll be back to finish off the good and start talking about the bad because there's some bad to talk about on 89.7 KLASFM after this.
My friend John and I think the road rules. We've got lots of ideas on where to go. Unfortunately, we're a little low on bucks. I'm thinking we're going nowhere fast. Then John found out about this Greyhound 2-for-1 companion fare. We can go just about any place, anytime, and we only pay for one ticket. Two for the price of one. And there's no hassles because we only have to buy our ticket 3 days before we go. So John, if you're listening, I got one thing to say. Hey, the Greyhound 2-for-1 companion.